So first I will start with cultural diversity. So what can you tell us about what you know about cultural diversity today? Cultural diversity refers to the presence of multiple cultural groups and practices within our society, communities, and classroom settings. It includes differences in things like traditions, beliefs, values, customs, religions, and social norms as well. So, what would you say would be key elements that deal with cultural diversity? First of all, what I've learned is tradition and customs, like, for instance, things like holidays, rituals, celebrations. Second is beliefs and values that are, are important as well. What diverse cultures would consider important or respectful. And next would be our social practices. Things like communication styles, the way we parent, and our ways of showing others respect. And lastly, how others see themselves and their heritage. So what would you be an example you would give to us that would show us how this is displayed within a classroom setting? Very good question. What I've learned through teaching is a teacher who has students who celebrate different holidays, they could incorporate books, activities, and visuals that highlight each of the different cultures to help foster a more inclusive environment for all students. So why could you tell us would this matter within the classroom? Well, I believe it would promote equality and inclusion and help the students and peers build empathy and cultural competence and reduce stereotypes and biases by helping to foster more understanding and respect. So now we will move on to linguistic diversity. So what do you know about linguistic diversity? Well, what I know is linguistic diversity often refers to the variety of languages being spoken by individuals or communities and how those languages shape things like communication, thinking, and learning. So here is a few examples that I could share about that. What I learned from observing is that multiple home languages being spoken shows that there are linguistic learners within every community. Some students who might be dual language, which means they speak Spanish, Mandarin, or other languages at home, and yet they are learning to speak and using English at school. There are multiple variations of different languages that are spoken every day by students who are bilingual, multilingual, or just learning a second language to have that skill. So, what would be an example of this from within a classroom setting? Well, what I learned is a student who speaks Chinese or Mandarin at home is also learning English at school as a second language. This teacher in this situation could use visuals, gestures, or translation tools to help them understand what they are learning while also valuing their home language that's spoken. Why would this matter? Well, it is important to support academic success for not only the students who speak English, but also for the English language learners. This preserves cultural identities, strengthens family connections, and encourages bilingualism within the student body. This links to cognitive flexibility and good problem solving skills. So now we will move on to neurodiversity. So what can you share about neurodiversity? Well, here's what I've learned. This is the concept that shows neurological differences are just natural variations of the human brain. It can include things like autism spectrum disorder, attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, dyslexia, and Tourette's syndrome, to just name a few. So, what would be something that would help other people understand? So, instead of everyone viewing these differences as problems that need to be fixed, so to speak, neurodiversity emphasizes strength based thinking. Each person has their own unique ways of processing information, communicating that information with others, and interacting with others as well. So what would I give for an example from within a classroom setting that I've learned? A student with attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, or ADHD as it's called, may struggle to sit still during school lesson. But on the other hand, they could excel at problem solving. So, what could the teacher do? The teacher could offer things like flexible seating, such as a cushion on the floor, maybe a stool, or even a couch at the back of the classroom. Movement breaks like dancing, for instance, or stretching, and hands-on activities that support each individual student's learning styles. Why would this matter, you ask? I have learned through my own journey in teaching so far that promoting acceptance and inclusion for all of my students with learning disabilities is particularly important. Helping other teachers around me to focus on their students' strengths instead of their weaknesses and not just their challenges can bring a more cohesive unit when it comes to a school administration body. And it would help to reduce a stigma and build self-esteem for all neurodivergent students. So thank you for your time, and I hope this helps explain what I have learned about these topics.